Hello everyone, my name is Tapos Das, currently working as an assistant professor at a Department of Geography, Region East of Education, NCERT, Bhubaneswar. In this lecture, we will explore the fundamental concept of biome, its characteristics, and the system for the classification, which comes under the paper Environment and Ecology. Now, discuss the learning objective of this module. To learn about the fundamental concept of biome and its classification scheme, we will cover the following points, which are: number 1, to know the conceptual meaning and ecological scope of the biome; number 2, to understand the fundamental concept of biome and its classification. Specifically, we focus the scheme and the criteria which is generally used to classify the biome. To start, let's discuss the basic concept of biome, that is also known as Earth living landscape. In the period of 1916, the American ecologist Elton first used the term biome in his book The Plant Succession and Analysis of Development of Vegetation. He also described the definition of the biome. According to him, it is a larger ecological unit characterized by dominant vegetation associated with animal life, which generally shaped by the climate. In addition to that, A.G. Tansley in the period of 1935 published one research article in the Journal of Ecology, which published under the behalf of Ecological Society of America, the use and abuse of vegetational concept and term, where he first used the term ecosystem. Not only that, in this article, he also tried to define the term ecosystem in this manner, that it is the interaction of organism with their physical environment, and that definitely separate from the biome concept. Furthermore, Karl Walter was an prominent 21st century German botanist and also famous for his work in the field of ecology. He developed the concept of zoonobiome. He classified the terrestrial biome into 9 major zoonobiomes, starting from zoonobiome 1 to 9, based on their microclimatic patterns. Looking at the following figure, which shows the ecotonal relationship among the zoonobiome, the dotted line which represent in the center of the diagram represent the equator, and which divided the extratropical bihemispheric zoonobiome into northern and southern hemispheric portion. On the other hand, Robert Whittaker also introduced a large-scale biome classification scheme based on the two important climatic parameters, that is number 1, that is the mean annual temperature, and number 2, that is the mean annual precipitation, as depicted in the figure. As we can see, in the x-axis, the figure shows the average temperature, and y-axis it shows the rainfall. And the Walter divided the biome mainly based on the temperature and precipitation. Number 1, that is the tropical rainforest characterized by high temperature and precipitation. The mean temperature of the tropical rainforest is more than 20 degrees Celsius, and if we take a look on this precipitation amount, which is more than 200 to 250 centimeter. Number 2, that is the tropical forest, which is commonly known as savanna, characterized by the high temperature, moderate to low precipitation. Number 3, that is temperate forest, that is the moderate temperature. Temperature lies between 5 degree to 20 degrees Celsius, and the precipitation is moderate to high. The desert biome, which is ranging from either hot or cold based on their thermal behavior, but in all cases the precipitation amount is very low. And last, that is the tundra biome, that is the very cold temperature, and the mean temperature is below -5 degrees Celsius. The Walter classification are generally differentiate biome based on their plant physiognomy, that is the structure, and biome type, which are broadly equivalent to the vegetation type. In addition to that, Holdridge was an American botanist and also a famous climatologist, introduced his climatic scheme and known as the life zone system of the Holdridge, that is the global bioclimatic scheme for classification of the land area. He published this scheme life zone classification system in his book Life Zone Ecology in the period of 1947, and later on he modified in the period of 1967. Ansel 2001 in their research article Terrestrial Ecoregion of the World, a new map of life on the earth, introduced one of the most widely used modern biome classification. This framework categorizes the world ecosystem into 8 biogeographic realms, which comes under 14 terrestrial biome and which encompasses nearly 867 distinct ecoregion. Despite this, the IUCN, that International Union for Conservation of Nature, in Global Ecosystem Topology 2020 is the most recent and comprehensive framework for classifying ecosystem worldwide. As we can see in this figure, it comprises 6 hierarchical level. The top 3 level, realms, biomes and functional group, are generally based on ecosystem function, while the lower 3 level account for species composition and local diversity. In contrast, biomes are also classified on the basis of their latitudinal extension into the 3 major group. Number 1, that is the tropical region, lies between 0 to 23.5 degree north and south. Number 2, that is the temperate, lies between 23.5 from 66.5 degree north and south, and the Arctic and polar zone. Fundamentally, these determine on the basis of their temperature pattern and precipitation nature. Now we discuss how temperature and precipitation influenced by the latitudinal extension. If we take a look on this temperature graph, that the temperature are gradually decreased from equatorial to poleward due to reduce of solar radiation intensity. On the other hand, in case of precipitation, the amount is high near the equatorial region, relatively low in subtropical desert and moderate to high in the temperate region. And if we take a example from the polar region, the precipitation is also very low compared to the other region. And on the basis of the thermal behavior or the latitudinal extension, we can divide the world on the basis of different thermal zone, like the tropical zone, tropical rainforest, savanna or tropical grassland and warm desert biome, which are generally fall under this group, the tropical zone. In case of subtropical zone, the biomes are subtropical deciduous forest and Mediterranean biome. Similarly, in case of temperate zone, that lies between 40 degree to 60 degree north and south in both hemisphere, the forest zone are like the temperate deciduous forest and temperate grassland, which is commonly known as the steppe. In case of subarctic, which lies between 60 degree to 70 degree north and south latitudinal extension, the taiga biome are generally fall in this section. In case of polar zone, the tundra biome are generally fall in this group. In brief, we are examine the effect of temperature and precipitation, which influence the global biome distribution, and each biome occupy any specific zone on the earth's surface, that is the limiting by the availability of water and the thermal character. Now let us look at the controlling factor which is influence the biome. Several renowned scientists and the researchers have studies controlling factors of biome ranging from climatology to soil science to geography and to study the holistic manner. Alexander von Humboldt is very famous and known as father of modern geography. He also known as the pioneer of the biogeography, showing how climate and altitude control vegetation zone. Vladimir Koppen also developed one climatic classification scheme are linked with climate directly to the biome distribution. As we all know that Köppen assumed that vegetation is the most representative features of the precipitation and temperature. And when Vladimir Köppen proposed his climate classification scheme, he based on the plant geographical map or plant classification map that invented by the Cadell in the period of 1874. Robert Whittaker also proposed a biome classification scheme using temperature and precipitation gradient that we are already learned in the previous slide. Together, they show that biome are controlled by the two important factor, that is the abiotic factor, which include the climate, soil and geography, and the biotic factor, that is the species interaction and vegetation trials. In the next session, we will discuss the individual biome in more detail. Thank you.